Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. I'm joined once again by Chris as we ride the whirlwind with Sharknado 2, the second one. Finn and April are on their way to New York until a Category 7 hurricane spawns heavy rain, storm surges, and deadly Sharknadoes. This movie was made on a budget of $2 million, and because it was straight to DVD/streaming, with no box office information, unfortunately.
How you doing?
Not
bud?
too bad. Hopefully people are going to see us because I've just got off another frigging copyright strike. Bastards.
Gotcha.
Which
YouTube's the worst.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was from a year ago. I was just talking before we went live there. From a fucking year ago, and it was one of Calvin's movies, the 7th Street. So it's not like I don't know the director, don't know the company. It was a trailer, so we were promoting stuff, and I messaged him, and he's like, "I've no idea who this company is doing it." So some random company has just popped out of nowhere and said, "I'm going to copyright strike you," and then everything gets stopped. Nobody sees your videos.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, that's a good thing about the Sharknado reviews is that no one's going to pay attention to these, so we'll be perfectly clear sailing all the way.
So, but I was, people are telling me
no one's copyrighting. Yeah, no one's copyright striking us. They're just going to see the title and they're like, just let it go through.
Yeah, no, but I'm going to blame the algorithms for nobody wanting to watch. Oh dear.
The channel's doing better though. We're definitely going to be 500 by the end of the year. Things are looking good. Yeah,
getting there. Just it's crap like that which comes out of nowhere, and that's why I don't do. Do you know why other reviewers do like shots of the movie and stuff in the background and stuff like that? That's why I don't do any of that, because even in the early days, I've been there's about 4 now or 5 attempts to copyright strike over nothing.
Yeah, and it's so inconsistent because I see other channels have, the trailers or the videos in the background and nothing ever happens to them. So I can't figure it out.
It's totally random.
Yeah.
And if there's a person behind it, they're just picking channels. If it's algorithms or bots, then I don't know how to find it.
Yeah.
But it does. It puts you on your guard to actually just talk about this stuff, because you're like, why bother if everything's stacked against you? Like, that's why if you're going to be a creator, you have to love what you're doing, because there's no other reason for doing this.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that take the fun out of it like this. Yeah, for sure.
It's a balls ache unless you actually really enjoy having the conversation, talking about movies and making the videos. There's no point, because if you're just doing it for fame or fandom or monetary stuff, it's not worth it. You're better just going working a job, because really, unless you're like in the super top tier, which is such a random event to happen, you're busting your balls. And then the amount of crap, and then when you do get popular, all the weirdos come first. I've noticed that all the freaks that want to just start trouble come first before actual fans. It's very, very odd.
Yeah, for sure.
But at least we've got movies that gets to talk about to frighten people away.
Exactly. This one should be safe.
Yeah. Oh God. Another one really hits us like. It wasn't as bad as the first one. The first one is abysmal. Like, what business is that being having a cult following? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm starting to see it a little bit after this one, because this one, it definitely has some really terrible flaws, but it's not as annoying as the first one. Like, I laughed at sometimes, and at the end of the movie, I wasn't like, God, that's frustrating. It was just like, it wasn't much to it, but it was less egregious than the first one.
Yeah, I can see that. The kind of, I think they found the formula. It's all about cameos and just we're all taking part in a daft movie and don't care. It's all about the one-liners and stuff.
Right.
The guy that plays Finn is still a wooden plank. Like, he is the worst part of this.
Yeah. They had just come up with someone more charismatic or
he has a charisma vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, he actually sucks the charisma out of the air. There's nothing to him.
I really feel whatever fandom they do have, and it is, like you said, a bit of a cult following for some reason, whatever fandom they have is done despite him. I don't think any one of those fans are like, oh, I watch it because of this guy. I
like I'm learn his name. I don't care.
Yeah, it's gosh, I'm telling you, it could be so much better if they just had someone that you were actually rooting for. You know,
Even one of the disposable Bird 2s out of the Sharknado or the Tremors
yeah,
sequel trilogy, even one of them would do a better job than this guy.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy's not looking so bad right now.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, we'll start off. We're on an airplane. They're flying to New York because April's written a book.
Yeah, How to Survive a Sharknado.
But yet everyone's going defending that he's like, no, she actually wrote it. Like they would know that, or can Finn fans not read?
Yeah, and then think back about what happened in the first movie. What exactly did April do that's going to help other people survive a Sharknado?
She's a raging bitch. I still don't forgive her for the first movie. I'm like, I'm at the root for this trout.
She got rescued from her house. She
bitched about it the whole way.
She was in the passenger seat of a car. She talked her husband out of saving a busload of children. Is that a chapter in the book? How to not save a busload of children? What did she do that warrants an entire book to try to help people?
It's something. And then we start getting a bit of jitters and stuff, and then we have this air marshal. Like, what the hell was that about?
Oh, he was overzealous, right?
But here's the thing: those of us that have the internet have watched viral videos of people kicking off in airplanes, and they don't get that. I mean, you've bound to have seen somebody kicking off in an airplane, and then all of a sudden there's about 10 security guards around, and nobody does anything for about 20 minutes because they're trying to do it all safely. Yet you've got this air marshal appears ready to pop two in the fin for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, but the only thing that made sense to me in my headcanon is that the air marshal had seen the first movie, and like all the rest of the audience, he just wanted an excuse to punch this guy.
I could see that.
Right? But otherwise, you're right. It makes no sense. But what I did like about the airplane scene, though, was some of the cameos on the plane were some of the best of the entire movie. And did you catch the pilot? Did you know who the pilot was?
No.
So it was actor Robert Hayes, who was the protagonist on the movie Airplane, the movie.
Oh, right. God, I haven't seen that in years.
And Airplane 2. And so he was actually the pilot in this, too. And he had a bunch of lines where he was saying, like, are you going to eat the chicken or the fish? Which are all references to the first movie. And then the co-pilot is like, panicking. And he's like, I've seen worse. So there was a lot of fun with some of those.
Oh, God, bloody Kelly Osbourne. She is a creature. She definitely came out of a lab. Like that is Frankenstein's monster of like there's nothing about her makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's her voice with her hair, with her just nothing. It's all been just glued and stuck together. It's like the old desktop publishing days, where people cut out magazine. That kind of looks like Kelly Osbourne. She's a weird looking chick.
Yeah, well, if you look at her parents, you figure it's probably like 20% the mom, 20% the dad, and like 60% pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
So that probably explains some of that.
Yeah, there's something like bloody hell.
Yeah, they were doing some hardcore drugs prior to her conception and during the pregnancy.
Maybe some of that dodgy plastic surgery Sharon got like leaked through into the uterus or what,
Yeah, exactly.
She's just a straight she's not ugly, she's not pretty, she just doesn't look as if she fits together. That's the only way I could describe her. She just looks as if I was trying to watch the Monsters remake there, the Rob Zombie one, and honestly, her and Monsters put together better. I don't know what it is about her. I just can't figure her out.
Yeah. Did you like when she got eaten pretty good?
Oh, absolutely. I was like, yes.
But there were some great cameos. I tell you, there was I like Will Wheaton because I was a big Star Trek: The Next Generation fan. So Wesley Crusher on Star Trek, he got killed pretty good.
He's become a bit of didn't he become a bit of an arsehole for a while, and then he's kind of had to dial that back, and he's now become like a bit of a joke of himself, just making fun of himself.
Yeah,
because he's done what do you call The Big Bang Theory quite a bit. He was like a Sheldon's nemesis, wasn't he?
Yeah, he made fun of himself on that show. Yeah, I think as a kid actor, he probably got a little full of himself. But I'm kind of forgive him for that because it's got to be tough going through your puberty on TV, and I'm sure
what child actor has ever turned out right?
Yeah, exactly.
They all get their bangles busted. Like,
yeah,
they all just go like. You can understand the case for the 30-year-old teenagers in horror movies and that, because bringing child actors just into Hollywood on its own messes with them. Like, that's not a good environment.
Exactly. But I've seen Will Wheaton on some shows lately where he seems very appreciative of everything. I don't know. He seems like a decent guy.
Something happened. I didn't go into the full detail. I know there's a lot of chatter about it online, but I know he pissed a lot of people off. And I don't know whether it was through his D&D group or what, but he really rubbed people up the wrong way.
Oh, okay. Wasn't aware of that.
And now it seems to be that he's tried, and this is one of the examples of it, where he's almost become a character of himself. So he's not trying to be a serious actor, if that makes sense. He's happy to do conventions and cameo roles and joke roles and stuff. And I don't know, he seems to have a bit of a strange history.
Okay. Huh. Yeah,
I have no part on it. Like I said, it's all. I never delved into the weeds because I wasn't that emotionally involved to look into it.
Yeah, gotcha. But there was some funny ones, like Damon John was a Wall Street man who gets killed. He's like helping them at one part, like halfway through the movie. He's on Shark Tank. Mm-hmm. He's one of like the billionaire investors on Shark Tank. So that was, kind of like Shark Tank, like a funny nod. So I thought the cameos in this were a huge step up, and it breaks up the monotony of just random people getting killed. It gives you something to look for.
Was the baseball player anybody? Buster or whatever.
Yeah. So
was he an actual baseball player, or was he like a baseball player playing another one, or was he somebody playing a?
No, he was on a TV show called Mad About You. I had his name written down. I apologize. I can't seem to find it at the moment.
No, that's right.
But
it's just This is 100% an American thing where it's such and such, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, am I supposed to get excited about this? Do you know when they do it in the ads? And God, what was that horror movie? Bad Boys. The guy that was buying the Porsche.
Okay.
The husband's like, such and such of blah 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 blah, and then such and such should buy this car, but not this one because I'm gonna fuck it up, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is so painful.
Yeah.
Do you know why there's like translations for foreign countries? Can we just have a bit less Yankistan? Just narrow it down a bit, because that's a bit much, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. You'd rather they focus on just get like the best actors as opposed to like.
No, but I'm sorry, it's the dialogue that goes with it. You are such and such, 3 times world champion, bullshit thing, blah blah blah. Explain telegraphing it all out. It's that dialogue that goes with it.
Okay, yeah.
Where I'd rather, if they're doing a cameo, okay. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Sort of thing.
Right.
Like, I knew there was a lot of TV presenters in this because at the end credits as themselves, and that was fair enough. I didn't have to know. I sort of was in with the joke, but when they sit in the telegraph, and they did it with that baseball player, you are such and such, blah, 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 even though it was like I'm guessing a parody.
Parody, because he had a resemblance.
But they do that, and I hate it.
Yeah, because he had like a resemblance to Babe Ruth, so I think that's why they chose that actor. But I see what you're saying. It's almost like an inside joke. And if you're not part of the inside joke, it's almost like insulting. Yeah, they should have. Exactly.
It's when they explain it out. I'll need to find a few examples and put them together. It's just really annoying.
Okay. Yeah.
It is such and such. Hi, such and such, 3 times world champion, blah, 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 blah. You know, and like, oh, for
Yeah.
fuck's sake. Oh, God, no,
Yeah.
stop, please. Just end
some of
me
them
now.
some of them were a little too much on the nose, like Jared Fogle as Jared from Subway, who gets killed in a subway.
Oh, God, that was like, this episode was sponsored by Subway and City Bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Did you eat fresh? And I'm like, oh, God, no, just kill me now. Please just kill me now. I'm never going to Subway again.
Well, we know where the $2 million came from, at least.
I would say so. Have you noticed as well, brand placements aren't even subtle anymore? It's like they're practically whacking it against the camera. Look at this.
Yeah, yeah. There used to be a thing in TV where like they wouldn't put the brand; it would just be like cola, instead of like a particular, Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something like that. It would just say cola on it. And I feel like the last 10 to 15 years, like everything else, they try to squeeze out every drop of money they can. But there used to be, it was like an honor code where we're not going to, sully our television show or our movie by putting in these product placements. And now it's just everywhere. And I see it at sports arenas too. I took my son to a game the other day, and it's just like every inch of the field is like plastered with advertisements. And you never used to have that. It was almost just like an honor code that the facility wouldn't sully the game by
And they don't charge less.
selling out. No. It's way more.
It's yeah. Just there, because you just feel like you're just constantly getting beaten over the head with the ads.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, would you stop and give it a break? even do it on YouTube. Do you ever see the ones where their episodes are sponsored?
Yeah.
And then they'll stop talking what they're talking about and launch in this really awkward segue.
Yeah.
I'm never going to do that, by the way. I don't care. I'm not doing that because I hate it.
Gotcha.
You just stop. And here is blah, 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 blah. I use this, and you know they never used it before in their life. And it's so awkward and fake and contrived, and you're like,
we will never do that. I'm just going to casually drink this. You keep talking.
Oh, dear. But, yeah, then they land in New York, and obviously have to crash land the plane. Like, not even 2 minutes into the movie, they're like, okay, yeah, we're crashing the plane, and Finn does this weird, like, landing thing and stuff, and it's just like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because, of course, a surfer in California would obviously know how to fly a plane, so I thought that made perfect sense.
Yeah. And I just can't warm to his character.
No,
I just can't at all. There's not even like a nudge and a wink, or even like 80s throwback or a bit of fun. He's just nothing there with him.
Yeah.
Then what was it? Sky was falling all over him, and I'm like, why? And he's really overacting too hard here, because
yeah, I can't figure it out. I don't know why they picked him. Maybe they just didn't have any options in the first one, but by this point they see they have a little bit of a hit. That's where the director has to say, you know what, it's a cult following. We had some viewership after the first movie. It definitely wasn't because of Ian Ziering, the Finn. Like, we have to, if we wanted to keep going and get bigger, we have to like replace him. The fact that they didn't see that, limits how far this series could go.
Yeah, but obviously there's people love it. That's a very strange thing.
Yeah. Like
there's people just going, what are you talking about, you lunatics? Probably screaming at the TV right now, going, what are you...
Well, I think they usually do that, but I think in this case they agree with us that I think they like the movie in spite of him, not because of him. I think if you asked enough Sharknado fans and name your top 10 favorite things about the series, I don't think he would make the top 10 at all.
No.
Yeah, they'll say the sharks, the cameos, the ridiculousness of it, the humor, like whatever their list is. I don't think he would.
And every other character except for Finn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
What'd you think of the special effects in this one?
They were better.
I thought so too.
Like, it wasn't as clunky as the first one.
Yeah, and they didn't use them as much.
No, and that was better. Better, less is more sometimes. Where I think they went overboard with the effects in the first one, and they looked terrible.
Yeah,
like when the sharks don't look like sharks, and a papier-mâché puppet would look better than some of the rendering they did.
Yeah. Like I remember in the first one, there's just like a random scene of them walking on the street, and there's a shark head on the ground. And rather than getting like a puppet mask or something like that, they CGI'd a terrible looking shark head on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, how much is that? We talked about that. How much does it cost just to get from a Halloween store or something like that a shark mask? Like that would have looked better. I didn't see that as much in this one. They used the CGI for the big stuff, obviously, like the Statue of Liberty head, and and it doesn't look good. But at least it was the awful. Yeah, that wouldn't look bad. But at least they used it for the big stuff only, and for like the small stuff, it was realistic or practical effects for the small stuff.
There's a thing I can't get my head around. It's this thing called baseball. Like, I'd rather be eaten by a shark than. How long are those games? About 9 hours long or something?
Yeah, they've put some rules in. It used to be there was no time limit, and that was kind of like the beauty of that sport as opposed to every other sport, is with the extra innings, like theoretically the game, could never end. Now they've added some rules where like there's a clock, a pitch clock, and different things like that. So they've taken away some of that. But
it makes cricket look like a super sport. And I'm talking about the cricket, not the professional cricket. I'm talking about the lawn cricket that's played by 60-year-olds.
Yeah.
It makes that look like like the UFC compared to flipping baseball. Oh my god!
So it's a different experience than any other sport. Like there is time where you could like talk to the people you're with, and you get to eat with them, and you have something going on in the background. Like it's not like a football or I guess what you call soccer, or hockey or anything like that, where it's just like constant action. So yeah, it's a different experience. It's all about being with the people that you're with and kind of like relaxing and taking your time. It's not exciting. I get
it. Do that in your garden with a few deck chairs.
Well,
without having to go and pay over the odds to some stadium to sit on wooden benches and watch a shitty sport and get bombarded with adverts.
Well,
I just love the way American sports are everything about the actual sport itself. Oh, it's all about this, but not the actual sport. Like you're talking about American football. Everything's about the halftime show and the quarter time show and the 5-minute show and the 10-minute show and all the bits that are actually not playing the sport. And I just think it's hilarious.
That's actually a very good point. I don't have.
Somebody tried to make me go to a baseball game, and I'm like, no. I even got tickets. It's like, no, it's not happening. Go away, leave me alone.
Yeah. And it was funny too that it was very much in keeping with Sharknado, that if they're going to pick a team in New York City, that they wouldn't pick the Yankees, who are world renowned and world class organization. They picked the Mets, which are like the little brother that's always failing. Me and my son are Mets fans, of course, because we like rooting for the little guy. But it's of the two, it's definitely the cheaper, like less successful franchise, and it's like totally fitting that that's the one that they would highlight in this.
I'll get the joke. No, I mean, this one at least we're getting the joke. I just didn't get it with the first one.
Yes.
At least this has a bit of self-awareness.
They were in on it. Yes. Good point.
And you can go along. Like I said, if this had been the first one, it wouldn't have been as bad. But that like I said, that first movie is absolutely horrendous. And this movie had no business existing after that. First portion of slop. But at least they're in there on the joke. Like you said, they're self-aware to get it. They're not taking it seriously. They're having a bit of poking and fun, and it seems to be that a lot of minor celebrities want to get on the gag,
Right.
which fair enough.
Yeah. And it seems almost like a love letter to like actually good horror movies too. That all these celebrities like the idea of, oh, that'll be fun where I show up and get killed on screen. And it seems like for whatever reason they picked this franchise as opposed to another one to real. I mean, there were so many. I have a list of cameos. It goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that they picked this. I don't know why they singled out this franchise, but
and considering the budget, they weren't getting paid to do it.
No, right?
But you get some. I suppose that's what it is. This is back in the days where there's still a bit of goodwill in the sort of Hollywood circuit. Like, there's none of that now. It's so depressing and just antagonistic and just awful. Where at least back then when this came out, there was still a sense of fun.
Yeah.
Like, all the fun is gone out of the movies now.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Even B movies and that, you know what I mean? There's no fun to be had. They're all lectures.
Yeah.
It's freaking rude.
It's amazing because it's only 10 years ago, but it's such a noticeable difference. You're right.
Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
It legit feels like another generation.
Yeah. If they made this movie today, it would be Sky would replace Finn. Finn would be knocked unconscious, and Sky would have to rescue him and save the day. You know, like it would just be like a different. It would be some sort of like message, like Finn caused the sharks because he's a white male, or it would just be some sort of messaging.
Yeah, and it would just take you right out of it.
Yeah.
At least that you can go, haha, yeah, okay, right, it's silly, and
silly. Yeah.
People are just on board just to have a bit of fun for once.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get it. Are the good movies? Absolutely not.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say I've watched worse, but I've not watched much worse. You know what I mean? This is really the bottom of the bar.
But the first movie set the bar so low, you know, that this was able to clear it. And they did. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
I was going to say, and it's funny, like you said, they're self-aware, which is a big positive. But they also did seem to take away some of the annoying CGI effects that really bothered me in the first one, where like the sky was bright and sunny one moment, and then dark and about to rain the next, and then back to sunny the next. Like there weren't as many egregious like background CGI issues that I had. So there was a little bit more attention to detail despite the silliness, and that helps, keeps me invested.
Yeah, but that's we've talked about other franchises. It's all right to be a joke, it's all right to be comedy, but if you take seriously what you're doing, and it's not it's not a money thing, even it's just when you're on the job, do the job right as best you can.
Right.
And people appreciate that. It mightn't seem like much, but if you're having a bad time, then you automatically zone in on those things. So if you get that right, it's a bit of goodwill towards the audience, the paying customer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we're trying really hard, which is gone now completely.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a shit now. It's like, squeeze. Here you go, onto the screen. Enjoy. And steam still coming off it.
Enjoy.
Yeah. And if you don't, you're a bigot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
But they're being punished at the moment in the box office.
Yeah, and there's all this like people get so upset when like the Rotten Tomato scores come out, and like you said, like instead of the director saying, "Oh, I have to really like go through the comments and listen to what the fans are saying to see where we went wrong," immediately their reaction is, "Those are bots, those are fake, or there's some sort of like online campaign against us."
It's the script. It's already put out. Yeah, where you're not getting it with this. They know they're making a shitty movie. There's that sense of fun. And they've been forgiven more. They got 6 movies out of it, so there you go. I think it says it all.
Yeah.
Where if this came out today, like I said, to be already having the tweets and the social media messages and the newspaper articles already to go of how the fans are horrible for hating this.
Right.
And you're just, and then it puts it on. Like, what was it? That movie that just came out there. It's not a horror one. Furiosa.
Oh, Furiosa.
So that wasn't, the first one didn't do terribly well. But this only opened in like 30 million at the box office because, of course, they put out these stupid tweets of how all you man babies are going to hate it and blah, blah, blah. So they put out all these antagonistic articles out and everyone just went, switched off immediately. And I'm talking about the general audience, not even the nerds.
Yeah.
Just the general, this shit again. And nobody went.
Yeah.
And the thing's lost like 90 million.
And they said that before the movie even came out. They shot themselves
they put
in the
out
foot.
that type of, they put that stupid marketing out and
Yeah.
winding people up. Where even the title of this, oh no, another one, Shark happens.
Shark happens.
Yeah, you're just getting the whole thing of, we know, we're just having fun with it.
Yeah.
And we're not taking ourselves too seriously. Hope you get the joke.
Right. I respect that. Yeah.
And that makes me, that's why I'm not as harsh with this one either, because they're doing that. They're just like, we're here having fun.
Yeah.
Same as I was just talking about Calvin at the start. Like, Cameron and I absolutely ripped apart his first movie when it came out, when we watched it. And he could have been an absolute arsehole about it. He's like, it's brilliant, do some more. Yeah, can I come on the show? We've been mates ever since. And it doesn't matter what it is. You find yourself becoming a supporter.
What a great attitude he has about it. Absolutely.
But that's it, and we weren't doing it to be meaner, just it was what it was.
Yeah.
And even the other ones we've panned, and the recent one, which we'll have the shadow time to do, it's actually, you see the improvement.
Yeah.
From that. So with a bit of goodwill, and as long as we're not going out to be arseholes, for the sake of it, just call it how you see it.
Yeah.
And as long as you explain what the problems are.
Yeah. You root for people.
Good bits.
Yeah.
And if people have a bit of humility, then you're going to naturally support them.
I root for people like that. I think that's great that he had the self-awareness to say, let me see what they're talking about and let me even participate, some of which I could explain, and then other things I could at least have a dialogue with them in person or, live. I thought that was awesome. And I
wasn't antagonistic in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And that's what I mean. I've been a supporter ever since, because that's all it takes. I'm easily bought, be nice to me.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
And it's interesting too, your perspective changes when you hear from the director. Like he was explaining in one of the interviews, I think on the show, on the channel, where he only had like 2 weeks, right?
Including post-production.
Including post-production. And like, just imagine trying to film an entire, movie. Sometimes it takes like 3 hours just to get the lighting set up. And now
even when I'm doing some of the, the pre-recorded videos, that takes me a couple of hours.
Yeah. Imagine an entire film.
Never mind the actual recorded part, but just the editing alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So doing that with a movie, and then if you have to do reshoots or anything, you don't even have time.
Yeah. So if you grade it on a curve, if you look at it that way, it really does change your perspective.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thanks. Yeah. So the attitude sort of the creator kind of makes you think about the product in a different way.
Right.
So with this one, they're just like, don't expect much. We know that. But we're going to try and have fun while we're doing this.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go along with it.
Exactly. I agree.
But I have to say, I was able to make a direct comparison between the subway and do you remember Men in Black 2?
Yeah.
Jeff.
Which when he's riding on the giant worm.
Yeah. No, but when the worm comes and eats the train as well.
Yeah.
And nobody was moving to the back. You're able to make a direct comparison on how one was good and this one wasn't.
Yeah.
It was so sluggish. I don't know. So overacted. And I don't know how to describe it. It just looked bad.
Yeah.
Even the actors, the extras, and everything else, there was no energy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. That's a good point. The entire subway scene could have been better if they just had gotten rid of it. It really didn't progress the story at all. Like, I guess was it just to get that Jared Fogle subway joke in there, but or that the sharks are now underground. I really didn't get it. The only thing I could think of is that they're filming a scene in New York City. That's where the entire movie's based on, and like New York City is kind of known for subways and getting to one place to the other. It makes more sense than the taxi, although they had the guy with the taxi too. But yeah, that whole scene just fell flat for me too, and that was a good comparison with Jeff Will Smith from Men in Black 2, because it was that scene was terrible, but it was better than this.
Not even Will Smith himself, but even the extras have that nonchalance, and then they're like, and actually energized. Where these extras, even when things getting ripped apart, they could barely move. There was no energy to them.
Yeah.
Or they weren't trying.
Yeah. It's true.
It's true. Just fell flat. And like I said, it went nowhere. It served no purpose.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it would have been better without that. Yeah.
Just save money there and done more in the city or something, or shave 10 minutes off the movie.
Yeah, it could have been filmed more at like certain landmarks or stuff like that. I mean, they did have the Statue of Liberty, but I don't know. You could have done something different than the subway.
That scene was horrendous. I think that had to be the utmost worst scene in this entire movie.
What? That's not how physics works, where a giant, very heavy head can just roll for like 18,000 blocks.
For a start, there's this thing called concrete.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Statue of Liberty made out of cast iron?
I think so, right? That's why it oxidized and it's green, because it's copper and other things. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's just going to smash through the concrete and just not move anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And the size was off. Like you could fit like hundreds of people, or tens of people in the head, and it was like the size of like two people when it fell, and it was just rolling down the street like a car. It's just
awful.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. So essentially, the story is there's two Sharknadoes this time, and if they combine, so they're coming from two different parts, and if they converge in the center, they'll create Super Duper Sharknado.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to invent or prevent. And obviously, Finn had made arrangements to meet up with his sister and brother-in-law. Was it his sister?
Yeah, it was his sister. Yeah, and then the brother-in-law was played by Mark McGrath, he was a popular singer for.
That's right, but they were buddies growing up together.
Yeah, and then he didn't like him banging his sister, I guess.
Yeah,
which I get.
Never had Sky. She was like just randomly appeared to be like some sort of weird pseudo love triangle.
Yeah. Or just to try to like convince the audience, like, no, this guy is attractive. You should like this guy. Look, Sky likes this guy.
One thing I would never do, and I didn't really get on with people at school, but I'm not going to walk up to somebody I met in school and just plant the lips on them. Like, they're acting as if they've been out of high school for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it's also it was filmed in 2014. There are things like social media and Facebook, and plus this guy is like famous for having written the book supposedly and survived. So she knows that he's married. Like that was so weird.
It's odd, but then again, that's such an American culture thing of this idea that your I know we've talked about this, but like your high school days are it, and that's what everyone. Yeah. Can you explain it to me? Because I still can't wrap my head around it. Because we leave school, we forget about school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just, once you leave, school is such a blip on the radar of your life. And it's after school, is when you start to create life. I do not know any self-respecting Brit that even talks about high school. Even people that were together in high school tend generally not to be friends outside it. Once it's done, people move on. It's friendships are made through sports clubs, bars that they go to, I mean, it's anything else but not school.
Yeah. So I do think it is an American culture thing. I don't know if it's changed recently because I'm so old that I don't even remember, high school. But it definitely, at the time, it was, popularized. There would be things like the homecoming, queen, and the football, star athlete was the most popular kid in school. And there was all the culture. There was all these TV shows, Beverly Hills 90210, Ian Ziering, our great Finn, was in that. There was all the culture was definitely that, like, high school was like this main part in your life, which is obviously ridiculous. But I'm not sure if that's changed since then, but at the time,
I could forgive it still. If like early 20s, I could maybe forgive having a bit of a callback to high school. But these are people in their 30s and they're acting people in their 30s with their own families, and they're still talking about high school crushes, etc. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it's not just this movie, it's across the board. You see it all the time portrayed in media. Everyone, and then I've met some Americans that talk about, like late 30s, get in their 40s, still talking about what they did in high school. And you're just scratching your head going, what happened? Did life stop? It's just such an anathema to me to try and get my head around.
Yeah. I don't understand it myself, but it definitely seems to be an American thing. Yeah. And Finn's kids are in college, so it's just even more strange.
So there's how much time has bloody passed?
Yeah.
Weird. Like, you're more likely to make lifelong friends in college than you are school, because that's where you're getting into maybe careers together. Or that's where you have, like, in the adulthood, like, long-term hobbies or whatever. But even it's just this whole thing of talking about school, high school, blah, blah, blah. I was this. It's like, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It never made sense to me. All my friends were from when I was 5 years old. Apparently, I forgot how to do it after that. But it just seems like high school is like this pivotal time in people's lives, and like you said, it's not. When you go to college, you're finally meeting people outside of your tiny little circle where your town was, and so like you said, you're more likely to meet lifelong friends at college because now you have more choices. And you also know a little bit more about who you are as a person.
You go more your direction,
and
meeting people traveling along the same path.
Exactly.
Rather than just a bunch of people just because you were busy mandated by law to go to school.
Yeah.
Technically, though, you aren't, but if you don't go, then you've social services, weird, legal thing. But, you're essentially forced to go to school because you're in an area, that's it. And it just happened to be lumped in with a bunch of other kids, no choice about it.
Right.
But just the whole Sky thing just reminds me of that whole cultural phenomenon that I can't get my head around.
Yeah. I think they wanted to use Vivica Fox because she was in Independence Day. She was in the Tremors TV show. We saw her in one of the last episodes. She's always seems to appear in these types of sci-fi horror type of movies and shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they just were trying to find a role for her and they're like, oh, we'll just do this. But it did feel forced. It didn't make sense. And I think it took away from whatever plot the story had. Yeah. It's hard to say the word plot.
Yeah, it's hard to associate plot with Sharknado movies, let's be honest.
Exactly.
There are a series of sequence events and cameos and product placements. Like I said, that weird plot of them April getting jealous.
And
you're kind of like, well, watch the first movie, mate. What the hell are you doing?
So it's funny. We talked
massive whore.
We talked about Finn, but to me, April is the worst part of the first two movies so far. She seems to struggle, like just with basic like language. Like it seems like a lot of times she's like struggling to understand what the other actor is saying. She has like this look, and this face where she's like just confused. I don't know if right, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do exactly. It's like she's, what am I doing in this movie, sort of thing.
Yeah, just some of the dialogue. It's like, I don't like, were they speaking in a different language to her, or did they explain that her character is supposed to be, normal? Definitely, she's less believable as a human being than the sharks are, and I think that's all I can say about her.
Yeah,
Terrible.
You're just going, like, you cannot root for the main characters.
Yeah.
So what you're watching here, you're not watching a movie, you're watching a lampoon. That's what it is. It's just a big lampoon. It's just a series of events and cameos and action sequence.
Yeah.
And you've got the two biggest wooden planks, who are the two leads. Should have brought back Finn's son, or let him pass on the torch to him, because he was a better character from the first one.
Yeah.
Mike, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Helicopter pilot.
I didn't look ahead to see like the third. I've never seen Sharknado 3, but I was really hoping in that opening scene when April almost got sucked out of the airplane, because I really feel like the movie would be so much better if they weren't there. And her character needs to see a neurologist or something. Just absolutely something's wrong with her.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, so let's hope they finally get all together in this hotel. And then this weird thing, they go to the top of the building, realize they can't do what they did last time, so they have to go and find another building.
Because they don't, the helicopter, they can't get a helicopter or something like that. There was a reason why they couldn't get the. New York City has lots of helicopters. I don't understand why they couldn't just do the same thing.
Yeah, it was something to do with one was hot, so the other needed to be cooled.
Yeah.
Because of where it came through. The weatherman was explaining it all as it came in, where the parts of the cold. You probably noticed I was zoning out a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to protect what little brain I've got left. You know what I mean? I'm just going,
Yeah, it was funny. I was looking at the weather map, and as he was trying to explain where these tornadoes were coming from, and it was a strain on the credibility in the first one. But at least, the sections of Los Angeles were near water. Whereas I know New York City is surrounded by water, but it's not really like the bodies of water it's surrounded or rivers. It's not really strong enough to create, that source of wind. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, this is a stretch, but what if there's an actual reason behind these tornadoes?
Chris, it sounds like you might be formulating a theory there.
I believe you're right, dear Colin.
Really? Is this going to be another crazy theory?
The craziest.
I guess we better do it then. It's a theory. It's a Chris. It's a theory.
Chris's crazy theory.
So, are we going to try to inject plot where no plot has gone before in a Sharknado movie?
Exactly. So it's a stretch, in a Sharknado movie to try to find meaning behind any of this. But I looked at it and I was like, all right, let's try to find a reason why some of these things are happening and try to explain it all. And, I wanted to try to up the production value. So my friend Colin helped me out, and we're going to try, instead of my usual paper charts, we're going to try to do a little bit higher tech. So I have some interesting images I'd like you all to see. And yes, thank you. So we'll start with this one. So this is how the evolution started for human beings, where we evolved supposedly from primates into man. And I started thinking, like, maybe on another planet it happened differently. Like we just happened to evolve from primates, but what if on another planet the sharks are the ones that actually were the ones that
are you thinking street sharks?
Perhaps I will get to that.
Such a
So I did this very detailed chart. I used a lot of time and research that went into this, and I'll explain it as follow. So this is an old shark on another planet. This, it's a little hard to see, it's a little dark, is a less old shark. And I'm using these technical terms. I apologize if this goes above the head of some viewers.
Okay, we'll put some extensive notes so people can research and get the terminology.
A link to my notes. That's a great idea. This is a modern shark over here, and this is a future shark alien, patent pending. So I think what happened is that on another planet, the sharks evolved. And this progresses further into how this connects to these movies. So I believe that the tornadoes are actually a way of masking the spaceships from another planet that are coming here. They don't want to be discovered. They don't want to be shot down. But I think the shark aliens, stay with me. I can see I'm losing you. And if I'm losing
not doing a good job.
If I'm losing you, who have I got? So these are evolved shark aliens. They've come to Earth and they see the abuse that human beings are conducting upon their cousins, essentially. Perhaps even there are sharks that were related to them further back in the timeline that were deposited on Earth and have not evolved on Earth, whereas they've evolved on this other planet. So the tornadoes are actually caused by the spaceships to mask their arrival on Earth, and they see the abuse that the sharks are taking. They're being fished, they're being cut for their fins, and that's why they're so angry. And they decide to actually, drop off almost like paratroopers, actual evolved sharks to kind of like have revenge on the planet. So the tornadoes are actually spaceships that are using the weather to mask.
Is the bad CGI then an actual cloaking system?
Exactly. It's a cloaking system. See, I know you're back on board.
I'm with you.
And I created an image of what these shark aliens actually look like on board the spaceship.
Oh no. Is that the last slide?
They don't
want no technical difficulties.
Oh, they don't want me to show it. All right, let me do this. I'm going to do present.
Dun, dun, dun. Top quality as always in this show.
No, this is the best part.
What happened? Was it a different file?
No, it's the same file. Give me 1 sec. I apologize. All right, here we go. Stop screen, present, share screen, entire screen. Here we go. Can you see that? Aha!
Dun, dun, dun.
I was building up the tension. So this is an actual photograph in my head of what.
Did you get the scriptwriters from this movie?
Of what the shark aliens look like. And as you can see by their mouth, they are not happy. Although he looks a little happy, but they are not happy.
He looks quite cheerful.
On Earth. He does look kind of cheerful. I should have drew it a little bit different. But he is not happy about what Earth is doing to the sharks. And that is why Sharknado sharks are aliens. Thank you.
There we go.
It's a theory. It's a Chris. It's a theory. Chris. Chris's crazy theory.
That actually makes more sense than this plot. But I see you got the same scriptwriters. That's why we had the cracking graphics. So we're staying on theme with the show.
Yeah. But that's the only way I could wrap my head around why the sharks are like super powerful, why they seem hell bent on killing people, why it's only the sharks and the tornadoes and not other fish.
Every other like sea mammal, there's no sea lions or walruses or there should be an audit whale thrown in there as well.
Yeah. So this is an aggressive alien paratroopers that are coming in to take revenge on humanity. Maybe. just a hunch.
It makes more sense in the movie. They're this weird thing where they were looking for chainsaws.
Yeah, that was.
And I'm like going, and they're going, it's New York, baby. There's no chainsaws. And I'm like, hold on, there's freaking trees. lining every major thoroughfare. Surely there's tree doctors and there's they get trimmed and that, and branches fall off on the road. You know, it's part of having trees. Of course,
Yeah,
there's going to be chainsaws, and there are suburbs in New York, I do believe.
yeah, for sure. I live in one. Yeah, I
They do
think.
exist. It's the same as London. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah, and then there was no hardware stores. Like the only hardware store in New York City was closed, or something.
but you can get everything.
Yeah,
Like a wee bit of mixed message in there.
yeah. By the way, that actor was another. The taxi driver was another guest star. It was
I thought that was Robert De Niro for a second.
He looked like he actually Robert Kind is his name, and he actually played a character on the TV show Taxi. So again, it was like on the nose that he's a taxi driver.
Yeah, if you nudge, wink, wink, if you know, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So
Is this a bit of a passion project, you think? Like with no actual serious attempts to make money?
it has that feeling.
It's almost like an indie movie that they've all just got together and went, here, have you got 5 minutes? Do you want to have a laugh?
Yeah. Have they all been on Sci-Fi, or have any tried to take it to
No, it's a sci-fi production, you know, it's
all of it, right? I
don't
wonder
forget
how.
as well, back in when this is come out, the Sci-Fi Channel was big.
That's true.
Like there was no competitor, you know, for cheesy sci-fi movies and fantasy movies. It was a Sci-Fi Channel. There was nothing else.
Yeah,
Like HBO Max wasn't even a thing.
true.
But the problem is that I don't know, they've got a quirky sense of humor or sense of style about them that you just know it's a sci-fi production. You know, they've got that strange thing. It's like watching something in CW, you know it's going to be feelings and corridors all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and they've got a particular brand and style in every show they do looks the same.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's why they kind of fell off the cliff. You know, people got sick of it because it didn't change and there wasn't enough quality being thrown. You know, what I mean, if there had been a quality show thrown in now and again.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture. I mean, Firefly wasn't. No, that was Fox. That wasn't.
Yeah, that wasn't sci-fi.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if they had.
Fox have a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
How many shows have they done? Really brilliant shows. Lucifer's another example, and then they've just went, "Nah, I'm not doing that anymore," and they got rescued by other channels.
Yeah.
Because even the make Serenity, you know, that wasn't Fox did it; it was somebody else. You know, just to give everybody the send off that Fox didn't there. Fox are a terrible channel for making stuff. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, they're still doing it to this day. There's a TV show that I like called Orville, and they had
with God,
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane, yes.
Yeah, funny show. It's like a riff on you know, all the Star Trek shows and stuff like that. But it started out more as a spoof, and then it actually became like a decent sci-fi show in and of itself, but kept a lot of the humor, which I loved. Mm-hmm. And Fox got rid of it, even though it supposedly had good numbers. I guess it's an expensive show to produce, as all sci-fi is, I guess. Not Sharknado. Sharknado proves that you don't have to have expensive sci-fi. But yeah, so they got rid of it, and it got picked up by Hulu, and now it's kind of in limbo for another season. But yeah, Fox is still doing that.
That's shocking.
They'll do 48 seasons of Simpsons, but you know, God forbid you have a decent.
Yeah, like oh no, can't be having that. Will ruin our reputation.
Yeah.
The Sci-Fi Channel lost me when they remade V.
I didn't see it, but I know you're talking about.
My God, that was horrendous.
Yeah.
And the original show was campy as hell. Yeah, folks, we've run out of plot. There's not much plot left in this movie, so we're just riffing for a minute because there's this. If we were just to purely talk about this movie, it'd be done in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
including the theory.
Including my theory.
The whole thing would be done because there's nothing to talk about. But yeah, when they remade V, I was like gutted. And the original 80s show was campy as hell. But there's a sense of, you know, you got a sense of danger and urgency and stuff. Not the second series because it was like Dynasty, sci-fi Dynasty, weird, spending more time with people stabbing each other in the back, even with the aliens. It was very odd.
Yeah.
But when they remade it, Sci-Fi remade it, they butchered it. So much so they tried to get Jane Baylor. They got Jane Baylor back for the second season, and even she couldn't save it.
Oh wow.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get with this. They're not trying to make something serious. And it's a product of its time, I think.
Yeah.
Because you look at it now and you're kind of going, no, you're not really buying it.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is there's 4 more, and the cameos were fun. You know, some of the death scenes were fun. You know, is it going to get repetitive? You know, like they have to come up with some hook without. And you've said this in the past with other shows. You can't just make it bigger. You know, bigger.
Yeah, you keep trying to make bigger. You eventually hit that plateau, and you've nowhere else to travel with it. So you gotta balance that out.
So even in this one, it went from 1 Sharknado to like 2 converging Sharknadoes. You know, like they can't just go to 3 shark. You know what I mean? Like they have to come up with ways to make it interesting without being repetitive, without necessarily just ramping up the number of sharks or something like that. So I'm curious which route they go with that to make.
I know there's one in space. I think I did do one in space.
Oh wow! Maybe they'll see the Shark Aliens.
The only one I remember is the one in Vegas. You know, I think I remember the start of it.
Okay.
But that's, you know, I mean, that's really as much investment. I've seen these 2, but the rest are a blur because I didn't really get invested in the franchise. You know what I mean? I just couldn't get with it. You know why people were jumping on this and fawning over it, and I just I didn't get the joke.
Yeah. Sharks in space. This could be my first theory. That's actually right.
Accidentally, like I said, I can't confirm or deny because I can't remember. I don't think I watched them.
Outside of the Dean Norris one, who I had to beg to convince.
Please do that.
Please say my theory's right. But every other theory has not been proven yet. This could be proven then.
That's why there's no theory. That's not Chris's law. Because a law is observable. That's the difference between the theory and law. That's why the theory of evolution, that's why they're always looking for the missing link. So, for example, Boyle's law is observable because molecules, you know, goes from solid to liquid to gas.
Okay.
So you can actually observe that under microscope.
So they call it a law.
Yeah, so that's why it's known as a law, is observable. And I meant to look up all the scientific laws to see how many I can remember, but I can't because I'm stupid. Need clever people to do things like that. But yeah, all the New York emergency services, and you all know Finn, but then Finn has to go up on his own because a surfer who just happened to be through us once is now a trained professional.
Yeah, it's not like he came up with some I mean, I guess it was his idea to throw the rockets into the explosives, the bombs into the tornado. But I don't know, for an entire city to just rely on him, and
not send up people with the equipment and training to do it instead.
Or like, okay, you go up, but we'll have some people, help you. It seemed so ridiculous. Oh gosh, that was brutal. Like
3 or 4 people with chainsaws forming a perimeter.
Yeah, something.
Oh, by the way, did we mention that Sky lost her arm at the beginning?
April,
sorry. I keep getting just...
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was hoping
April lost her arm. That was the whole thing.
I was getting excited because I was like, that'd be cool if they get rid of her because she's just, dragging this whole series down. But instead, it was so that they could do an Ash from Evil Dead and put the chainsaw on. Ash
because it was a circular saw.
Yeah.
Which I think they should have done for the Evil Dead remake.
A circular saw?
Yeah, a circular saw instead of the chainsaw because with Maya, they basically copied Ash Williams' character almost beat for beat, and I was like, no, this is, if you want to make it something new, make it something new. So they had it done, give her a circular saw.
Yeah,
it'd be better. At least it would have taken the franchise in a new direction. But hey ho.
Yeah.
But yeah, Would Sky do her weird last stand thing? I can't even remember what she did because it didn't care.
Yeah, but the whole well, she had to like run back and like connect the wires again and get like electrocuted or something like that. It was a pretty rough final scene.
Honestly, yeah, you know what you're doing. Oh, yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is she dead yet? Right. Right. Come on. Is this over? Oh, fuck. 15 minutes still to go. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like,
I was hoping they were going to lean into the silliness of it, and then there would be like a final battle with like the shark braid or something like that. If my theory was right, there's like shark aliens.
They have no personality. That's the problem. There's everyone else is trying to have fun with this except the main characters.
Yeah, a great example of that is they gave one funny line to Finn where like I think it was a taxi driver or something like that, where he asks him like you were inside a shark, in California. That must not have smelled good or something like that. And like you're like, oh, okay, this is gonna be something funny that he says. He's getting this perfect setup to some joke. And instead Finn is just like, yeah, I don't remember it smelling good. That's it. Like what like where's like the charisma? Where's that's your one chance to do something funny. Or
do you think it's as much the writer's fault as it is the actor?
I think the writers probably see that he doesn't do well with comedy or with any kind of like fun, and then they just give up. That's what I feel like. I feel like they saw the first movie and they're like, no, we can't give him anything like that. We have to just keep it like generic action hero. Yeah, deadpan. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it just doesn't fit. But yeah, we had all that weird scene back and forth and stuff, and I honestly zoned out again. And then Sky makes her noble sacrifice.
Yeah, they released the Freon.
April turns up with her circular saw hand.
Yeah.
Stuff happens there. I'm zoned out at this point. I'm struggling to like. I'm just like going with the end already. Come on.
Yeah. It's they did have that little cameo at the end where they're all eating pizza in the pizza shop, which was kind of like a nod to like the Avengers, which had come out only like 2 years before at this point. That scene where all the superheroes are just eating pizza.
The shawarma shop or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're eating food after the devastation and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it ended with a little nod.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you really have to reach to find the humor in this. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like you're having to explain the jokes.
Yeah, which is not good.
And you're having to research and go, okay, that's why that is funny. Exactly. Chortle. And you're just like dying inside.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's it. It's a movie. It happened.
It's a movie. It happened.
I can't really say much else about it. Yeah, it's not as offensive as the first one, but it's not great either.
If I had to sum it up, that's exactly it. It's in on the joke now. It's not as offensive as the first one. Some of the cameos are fun, but there is a danger of this becoming repetitive in the third one. So
let me give you an example because we did it. Toxic Avenger.
Yeah,
you got the jokes with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You got the sort of nudge and the wink and the ha, we're having a bit of a laugh here.
Right.
And you got the idea that they're trying to make a good move, just trying to bring you on board.
Yeah.
Michael J. White in Toxic Avenger 2 was brilliant. And he always plays like tough guy martial artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, you're lucky I've got my piano lesson. Off he goes in his tutu, you know what I mean? That was a super serious martial arts actor.
Yeah.
It'd be like the equivalent of getting Steven Seagal to do something like that, just completely out of character, just having fun with the moment. You got the joke without having to be explained to you.
Right.
Where this, you need every joke explained. And it's just so flat.
And like you said, the main characters are not having part of the fun. So it's just a very disjointed approach. But like I said, the bar was set so low from the first one that this was enjoyable by comparison.
Baby, for you and Sharknado. Sorry, channeling my inner 80s. Oh man, another 4 of these today. But not yet. Because we're going back to the Final Destination, the next one.
Yeah. Good choices on these because you can't get two more.
We couldn't do 6 of these in a row.
Yeah.
Break us. Honestly, we'll have to think of our mental health here.
Yeah. But like the Final Destinations have been very like thought provoking for me. Or at least the first one was. And whereas this, like you said in the past, you just put your brain in a jar and hopefully you remember enough to find the brain and put it back at the end.
Yeah, because you lose IQ points watching this.
You do.
Well, there you go, Chris. Thanks, mate, as always, for putting up with us, because this is, this is a big ask of a friend.
I'm having fun with these.
More fun than the cast, anyway.
Yeah, that's for sure.
There you go. We will be back, and just as you say, until next time, keep up to date with the channel, do the tippy clicky things, and remember, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.